Hey everybody, welcome back for our Thursday Thoughts. Today I'm going to switch gears a little bit and I'm going to give a kind of a review, my thoughts, my analysis of the JKF, Japan Karate Federation All Japan Championships that happened just shy of 2 weeks ago. And I'm not going to go over the whole tournament today, we're just going to talk about the kata. And I'm just going to kind of give my thoughts about that. And the breakdown of the competitors for the female kata was Shimizu Kyo against Iwamoto Emery, and then for male kata was Kyuna Ryo and Shimbaba Issei. So we've got the Japanese stars here going in, and I want to caveat this whole discussion with, before the All Japan Championships, the JKF had already announced that Shimizu Kyo, and then for the Kumite side, Nishimura Ken had been designated as their Olympic athletes, their Olympic competitors. So we'll just throw that out there and leave that for what it's worth for the moment. We may circle back around to that. But I want to go ahead and break down here my analysis. Iwamoto did Anan, and Shimizu did her signature Chaitanya Rakushanku. And to be quite honest, I think Iwamoto should have won. It was a little flatter than I've seen her perform before, but Shimizu, the announcer, I'll post the video in the links below, but the announcer had said that Shimizu made a comment about that Sandra Sanchez of Spain does a better job of displaying or showing her techniques. And what I've seen of Shimizu over the last several tournaments is she's added a lot of unnecessary movements and a lot of unnecessary techniques to her kata, and I think that's throwing off her focus there. But she won, but what I find interesting is this year JKF used points, right? They followed the WKF rule and transitioned to the point-based system rather than flags. And her and Ono Hikaru were in the same pool for the first 2 rounds, for the first 3 rounds. And points-wise, Ono beat Shimizu for the first and the second round. And it was only in the 3rd round, which decided the medal matches, that Shimizu had a higher score. So my personal feeling, right? Shimizu was up for her 7th straight. When she won, this became her 7th straight victory in the All Japan Championships. And this may be a little cynicism on my part, but after the 2nd round, when Ono beat her for 2 rounds in a row, right, it wouldn't look very good. So somehow she did better in her Suparinpei, Shitoryu Suparinpei, versus Ono's Goju Suparinpei in the 3rd round. I wish I had that on video. I haven't been able to find that yet, but I have the NHK finals here, and I'll post that link down below. I have this feeling, I'm going to borrow a phrase that a friend of mine says, is that it seems like Japan wants Shimizu to be the next, or has always wanted her to be the same as Usami Rika, and I don't think that she quite is there yet. She's fast, she's a great, talented athlete, but I see a lot of disjointedness and a lot of body and hands moving separately, and the in-between movements aren't complete. The techniques don't seem complete to me. Iwamoto's Anan was, I would consider, maybe a little flat compared to other ones, but I think it was more solid and more stable than Shimizu's Chaitanya Rakushanku. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a JKF judge. So moving on to the men. So men, we had our classic matchup. This was, let me double check here, make sure I don't give you bad information, the 6th time that Kyuna Ryo and Shimbaba Issei have gone head-to-head in the finals. And the results were Kyuna won again, not unexpectedly, and probably deservedly so. They're both very solid karateka and very solid athletes. And it would be, if it weren't for Kyuna, Shimbaba would be right up there on the world stage. I mean, his WKF ranking, I think right now is fourth, right? That's not Olympic standing, that's just WKF standing. So he would be right there. But I will say that he did Supa Rinpe again in the finals, and his Supa Rinpe is usually his back and forth between that and Chatan. I actually think he did better 2 years ago in 2017, the finals there. That's when I use his kata when I have athletes who are training Supa Rinpe for competition. That's actually one of the models that I use, is for his 2017 JKF finals. And this year he just didn't, it wasn't there. The announcers were talking about he may be retiring, he may decide to retire, and I wish him well on whatever endeavors he takes, if that is indeed the case, that he does retire from competition. But my overall feeling was none of the competitors really wowed me this year. I didn't get the feeling like, wow, that was a decisive victory, unlike previous times. Again, the point that I mentioned earlier about JKF already deciding who their kata athletes are, I think had a big impact, because it wouldn't do well for the person who they identified to win, or I'm sorry, to represent Japan in the Olympics, loses in the national championships the year before the Olympics. So, I wish they had held off on that formal announcement. I mean, everybody knows who the competitors are going to be, but I wish they'd held off on their announcement until afterwards, because to me, especially on the female side, the truth was there in the first and second round when Ono Hikaru beat Shimizu. So anyways, again, not to take anything away from any of these competitors, these athletes, they're all phenomenal athletes. And I use many of their kata as role models, things to look for or look at for my athletes when I'm training them. But anyways, I wish I'd seen a little bit more, especially in a pre-Olympic year. And we're going to talk about, I think next week, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about karate in the Olympics, and give you some ideas on that, some food for thought. So anyways, thanks for tuning in, and get out there, keep training, and looking forward to seeing you out there.